in the next 2 months. The Philippines and China revisit discussions on joint oil exploration activities in the disputed waters. And one lender sees slower growth for the Philippines this year at 6%. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. The National Water Resources Board says that it is still reviewing the request to increase water allocation from the Angat Dam to 52 cubic meters per second. The Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System earlier made an appeal on behalf of Maynilad and Manila Water for a higher water share in order to reduce service interruptions in this dry season. Recall that the NWRB already approved an increase in water allocation for April 1 to 15 from 48 to 50 cubic meters per second. And while the NWRB assured that the Angat Dam has enough reserves, the board says that they still have to consider the impact of higher allocation in the context of the upcoming El Nino.
This is around 10 meters below the normal high water level, but still, no, we consider this level as within the normal operating of the dam. However, considering that Pag-asa already advised, no, there is an advisory that there might be the possibility of an El Nino, then we might have to consider this sort of projections by Pag-asa and try to manage supply, so that by the second half of this year, we still have sufficient supply for Metro Manila as well as for irrigation.
Pag-asa clarifies that the water level in the Angat Dam could significantly drop if it does not rain in April and May. Hydrologist Edgar de la Cruz also noted that low water supply from the dam in Bulacan is normal between the months of March and June due to the lack of rainfall in the dry season. The Angat Dam supplies the majority of Metro Manila's water needs.
Nag-average po ang Angat na mga 0.35 meters a day. Ngayon, ang layo po natin sa low water level na 180, mga 21 meters pa. Ngayon, kung iaano po natin yan, kukwentahin natin, mga 2 buwan para bago natin ma-hit yung low water level. Kung buong April hindi uulan, buong Mayo hindi uulan. So, by June, nalalapit na tayo doon sa low water level.
In other news, the Foreign Affairs Department confirms plans to resume talks with China on possible oil and gas exploration. The DFA said officials from the two countries will initially meet in Beijing sometime in May to discuss the parameters and terms of reference on the possible exploration deal. DFA Chief Enrique Manalo promised to keep Senator Francis Tolentino posted on the talks' progress. Tolentino earlier called on the government to tread carefully in reviving discussions on joint exploration. The lawmaker warned that this could lead to more Chinese incursions in the West Philippine Sea. We're bringing you more stories after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. On One News Now, I'm Sean Yao. The Asian Development Bank expects the domestic economy to grow moderately in 2023 after full-year GDP beat forecasts last year. The ADB says that the country will remain on a healthy expansion mode despite inflationary pressures. In its latest outlook, The Manila-based multilateral lender estimates the Philippine economy to grow 6% this year and by 6.3% in 2024. The ADB says rising domestic demand, sustained expansion in the manufacturing sector, and recovery in services like tourism and retail trade will support economic growth. The ADB also says that the Philippines is on track with its goal of becoming an upper middle income country. However, the lender is warning of headwinds such as geopolitical tensions, a slowdown in major advanced economies, and persistently high inflation. And former U.S. President Donald Trump arrived in New York via his private plane for his scheduled arraignment in a few hours. The former American president will face charges stemming from a probe into hush money paid to a porn star in the waning days of the 2016 presidential elections. Trump is set to surrender at the Manhattan District Attorney's office, while his lawyers argued against letting cameras inside the courtroom. Meanwhile, commuters and tourists in New York have mixed reactions on Trump's indictment.
I don't know if there's a whole lot you can expect from the indictment. I'm sure that he will be arraigned. I'm sure that something will happen. I doubt he'll spend any time in jail, and I'd be really surprised if there are any real meaningful repercussions from it. And that's unfortunate, but that's kind of how these things work.
Yeah, well, I guess, he has escaped a lot, but, a lot of charges, and I think he's used his power and privilege to get away with a whole lot of things. We're really hopeful that this one will stick and that he will be found guilty and prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
International celebrities praise the current cover of Vogue Philippines, featuring the country's oldest mambabatok or tattoo artist, Apo Wang-od Ogay. Oscar winner Halle Berry took to Instagram to share the cover and captioned it with, "Now this is real beauty." Berry's fellow celebrities agreed, with model Naomi Campbell and actor-host Mario Lopez reacting in the comments section. Filipino-American stand-up comedian Jokoy was likewise impressed with the magazine issue, saying that it is the best Vogue cover ever. Wang-od, who is 106 years old, is the oldest person to appear on a Vogue cover. And BTS member Jimin just made history as the first South Korean solo artist to top Billboard's Hot 100. Jimin made it to #1 of the US Songs chart for his new single, Like Crazy. He is the first BTS member to rank within the top 20 of the same chart through a solo release. On Instagram, Jimin thanked the ARMY for the achievement, adding a caption that says, "Love you all." One News Now will be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News. All sides, all the time.